quickly here for us. All right, so let me see. There's Mr. Boomer. I will unmute him. I'm actually going to promote him. Dan, can you hear us?
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, Daniel. I see you're here, but I don't see you in. Do you have control of the presentation or no?
No, I don't. You have to make me.
All right, well, I'm going to get you to walk through this little slide here, and then we'll upload your PDF to get right into the meat of the matter. But Dan Geromo, everybody here knows who he is. You probably know him better than you know me, but Dan is everywhere. As we just said, Dan, you weren't here, so we didn't know which country you were in or which state you were in, but you're here now, and that's all that matters. So glad you could make it, and I know this is the start of the new season here. 2015 is going to be a year to make it count, as you say, and I know you've got some great stuff to talk about today, so we'll get right into it. So Dan, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'll just move these slides as we need to.
Okay, I actually was going to do, number one, I think what you need to know first is that the simplicity of what we have. There's some basic dynamics that make this work and make it easy for people to do, but most of the time we get in the way of ourselves from being successful. So I'm particularly talking to the new people out there today, as well as I am talking to the ones that have been in, but for one reason or another, you may have not had the success that you wanted to have. And primarily, you may be getting in your own way from doing that. Now, our natural tendencies are to try and not use tools if you are new in network marketing and understand what network marketing is. It's pure business without the overhead, the storefront, the employees, or payrolls. It's all the things that hold people back from being successful or being in themselves. So traditionally in any one particular kind of business, you know, if somebody has to sell something to somebody that wants to I'm sorry, Gail, you need to close your camera. Somehow you got in there. Okay, thank you. Somebody has to sell something to somebody that wants to buy something. Now, in the process, very quickly, money leaves your hands no matter what it is, whether it's Karatbars, whether it's a consumable, or it's a subscription of some kind. The difference between the two is not what you have at the beginning of the month, it's what you have at the end of the month. You see, with Karatbars, you're creating an asset in the process of doing that. Okay? So month number 2, you put money out, you exchange it for something, and at the end of the month, what do you have? You're accumulating an asset with what we have. And so this keeps going again and again and again, and that, my friends, is the main difference. Because you can have the best product, the best techie thing, the best subscription to something that you might use. But if you ever stop doing it, you have passed it through your kidneys, or it's expired, and you really don't have anything tangible. With what we have, you do. Now, Lloyd, can you pop up my PowerPoint? Yeah, the system is the key. Can you pop up my PowerPoint there? I think it says SIFT 100.
You mean that
that's
one?
The PDF. Yes.
I will find it here. Unfortunately,
it's right
Dan
underneath. You'll see it's a perk in 30 days and save $780 in 12 weeks to create an asset that will make you free. And this is not some interest-bearing scheme or investment. It's a legitimate business plan requiring some simple effort. So we want to help you take you out of the way. And I need to make a clarification on the 12-week plan of strategy, because this is put out there, and I need to let you know what it is. It was a way that successful affiliates took the components from the Karatbars infrastructure and pay schedule and put together like baking bread, but it's only a perfect world example to show how money can be made utilizing the infrastructure and the pay schedule. It's not a guarantee of earnings or what your team's going to look like. Everybody's team looks different. You can just ask anybody. It was never meant that you should only find two. It's shown what can happen if you find the right two. You see the dynamics that create the residual income here harness momentum and velocity, which Lloyd's done an outstanding video on here. It's 5 minutes long, but it's combined with your efforts and multiplied by the efforts of others who think alike. I always say this every time I teach you something, is that you are the vine. Karatbars is not another shiny dandelion program where the bees go to it and then the dandelion dies and they jump to the next dandelion and the next dandelion. We're a vine cut from good rootstock planted in fertile soil, and it grows in stages of development. Why? Because it grows with no debt. And so understand, all success that in whatever you want to do starts with you. You and your perception of what you have here and you and how you fit into the scope of this will either start or stop you from taking action. You and your meta others will start or stop the duplication process. The most important thing is this, is if you like this, please value your own opinion. If you don't value it, nobody else will. So what I want to convey today, very simply, what do I want? This is what I want you to ask yourself. What do I want? What do I need to know? And what do I need to do? You see, you never get paid for what you know. You only get paid for what you do with what you know. So it's very important, I think, that you make a game plan. Have a financial structure here, okay? And so identify a few goals of yourself. As a matter of fact, if somebody wants to occupy my time, I want to know what they want and how much time they're willing to commit to get it. Click the next slide, wait. And so if you haven't, this grows in stages, just like a vine does. If you haven't learned to make 1,000 a month yet, that's your first benchmark. Then you're going to learn how to make 1,000 a week, and then you learn how to make 1,000 a day. And for some of you, mark my word, over time you'll make 1,000 an hour, whether you're sleeping or traveling or whatever. I don't say everybody, but with sustaining the pace, you can. Remember that Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will any plan to create residual income. It doesn't happen overnight. And so I need to understand that you have 24 hours in a day. You have the same as much as I do. You need to identify in your vertical alignment to what's most important to you to identify the windows of time you're going to work your plan. Successful people plan their work and work their plan. Next one. So I want to point out that in order to create an asset, I don't care what asset it is, you must leverage, you must either leverage and invest a lot of money, which few of the masses have available. That's why the elite are the elite. Or you must leverage and invest time, which everyone has the same amount of. But, you know, most don't do much with it. So what are you doing with your time to create an asset? And so when somebody says, you can leave it right there. When somebody says, I got a great job, great. How does your residual income, retirement income look like? You know, most of them say, you have a plan? Well, I got a 401k. Well, if your 401k turned out to be a 101k, how would you feel about that? Okay? So you understand, no matter what we do, somebody's got to sell something to somebody that wants to buy something. Is this an MLM? No. It's gold is money. It's the third part of any economic structure, which is the medium of exchange. We just happen to have the best one out there. Is it a subscription? No. Is it consumable? No. It doesn't rust, doesn't rot, and doesn't need maintenance. You don't eat it, drink it, wear it, smoke it. You don't clean with it, or you don't pass it through your kidneys. And no one's sorry they ever had it, even a garage full of it. It always looks good on any financial statement anywhere, and no one can make it better than it is in quality, size, and security. Real important point. see, this is a process that creates an asset. I'm going to repeat that over and over because I need to make my point with it. Go ahead. You must understand that the process here to make it simple, because you might be the best communicator out there, but it's always reduced to the simplest level, farthest away to somebody who isn't. Does that make sense to you? If you want to have something fantastic, it's got to be able to reach millions of people. They have to be able to duplicate a process in a simple fashion. So I'm just going to go over a few things about the process, the funnel, the task, and getting you over your goal line. And remember this, it's what duplicates. It's not what works. Lots of things work. You can go out and sponsor 500 people. It may not duplicate. Talk process, not product. That is key important. Nobody really wants to run around selling gold, because to them it's nothing more than a job to 95% of the masses, and it's a yellow hunk of metal that sits in a drawer and doesn't do anything. And they know that, for me, they knew I wasn't the gold guy. In order for them, in their perception, remember their perception of the masses, you'd have to find somebody with a lot of money to sell your kind of gold to that would compete with them in order to create any type of sizable income. But that's not the simplicity of what we have. That is the main miscommunication we have in the perception you may be giving them. We need to ask this question. In the times we live in today, do you think there's anybody out there somewhere that might want to take a look at a legitimate business strategy to produce $4,500 a week of passive income in as little as 12 weeks, or whether it's 8 weeks, or it's 20 weeks, or it's 52 weeks? So the goal here is very simply, if you do not have this chart, you need to download it. If you're going to go follow, this is the 6th time I have done this. This is not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I've done this 6 times, and each time my business booms, because there's a few of you who decide not to bargain with the process and just follow simple directions and take you out of the way of you. Now that may sound funny, because even as a communicator, if you don't use the process, then you introduced it to somebody who didn't use the process either. Therefore, you're trying to get them to do something that they didn't know what to do. So what I want you to do is do 100 units of work in 30 days. That's it. I want you to ask 100 people in 30 days. And go to the next slide. And in the process, you will get started. You'll get better at it, just like you ever did. You're going to get it done, and then you're going to get what you want. But if you don't know what you want, how are you going to get what you want? Does that make sense? You have to take it out of your head, which is a dream, which is in cyberspace in your brain. Because between your ears is a computer far more sophisticated than anything man has created. And inside you is a brilliant spark trying to get out. Some of you are frustrated. Now, once you take it out of your head and put it into reality on paper, your brain starts to visualize what you want. I'm not sure. Who's that there? Excuse me. Can you turn your camera off? Thank you. Now look at, out of the whole process of going through 100, you're going to look for these characteristics in people. Okay? 1, who succeeds. We're looking for people with the 3 Ds. These are people with dreams, desires, and determination. They may have 2 of the 3, but the ones that have 3, all 3, are the ones you are never going to stop from doing this once they understand and get over their bridge of belief with Karatbars. You're never going to stop them. And there are highly successful people in many different careers that are in places that they were highly successful before, but now there's been some changes in the economy and in the industry. You know what? You give me somebody, when I'm out in the public and I look for people who are good at whatever they do. I don't care what it is they're doing. When they're good at it, it's that attitude that makes them exceptional in our business. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only thing you need to know is you got 2 arms. You got a left arm and a right arm. Somewhere you need to open up enough doors to where the right people get in with the 3 Ds. Do your share of work. And so they understand, just like you were in your own career. You were not good at what you did right off the bat. You usually had somebody who taught you or mentored you. And so be more than just a teacher to everybody. Be a mentor. A mentor sets the example. A mentor is the one that shows you, works with you, has you work with them, and then you go to work and they watch until they know you know what you're doing. And at that point, they work together in teamwork, and you're going to find out your results will jump right through the roof. Can you go to the next slide? So there's some simple tools to get the job done. What I'm going to show you here is how to go through 100 units of work in 30 days. And for many of you, it's going to be a breeze like this. I'm going to tell you the results that you will get from this. I think that it's going to double whatever you've got. The simple tools to get the job done is you need some type of coordination of some simple. You can get them at carrotgroupteam.com. Or as many of you, some of you are involved in a very efficient team systems. Maybe you've worked in groups before and you have your own team style. So remember this, never change anything from what you're doing and without consulting your upline trusted senior partner or goal director elite. Why? We don't want to mess up your duplication. Remember, it's not what works, it's what duplicates. But if you see this, the introduction is only to sift out the interested parties to take you out of the way of you. And if you think about that, you'll probably go to sleep tonight, and when you get up in the morning, you're going to go, wow, you know, that probably makes a lot of sense. Maybe that's why I've sponsored a bunch of people. They haven't uploaded their documents. They haven't ordered stuff, or very few people took the reins and did it themselves. Your method that you're using to duplicate inhibits them, and they don't know the simplicity of what to do to get started. The 800 link numbers, I'm going to let Lloyd talk about that for a minute, and the sizzle calls are the key to this process. And you're going to need some type of replicated website that leads them to get some additional information in a quick fashion so that they can wrap their head around this, so that they can ask a few questions to get themselves to a over the bridge of belief. And that's your goal. Now, Lloyd, if you'd like to, well, I'll tell you what. Would you like to talk for a minute, Lloyd, about the 800 link and the sizzle calls and et cetera?
Very quickly, I'll give you your voice arrest there, Dan. Yes, the 800 link, they've been around a long time. They're a message center, a very good one. There's others out there, but they're probably one of the best. And they simply provide a place where you can add phone numbers. You have your own number. It's unique to you. You can attach messages, your own. There's messages already on there that we use for various reasons, introducing others as an overview. You've got Dan's 5-minute message, which is proving to be extremely useful in qualifying anybody for the business, or at least qualifying them so that they're speaking to somebody who has an interest and is a keen interest in about it. So you can get 800 link. You can go to the team site, Carrot Group team site, and click on the link, and all the messages are automatically uploaded for you. You can spend $9.95 a month and get one number with 500 free minutes if you have an 800 number there, or you can get a local one, and you simply attach the message. So the key to this 800 link is amongst many other uses, and you can go watch the video on the team site to learn more about it. But as it relates to the sizzle call, as Dan says, you can either upload your sizzle call on your phone, or you can link it to a number. Well, if you link it to a number, it's great if you're three-waying somebody in and you can talk to them after the fact, but it is also extremely useful for you to have on a business card, or give out, or email, or whatever to somebody, and just have them listen to that number. Now, if they listen to the number, if it's in 800 link, it's unique to you, and should they have an interest in getting more information, then they simply leave a message, and all you're going to get from them is, yes, I'd like some more information, please give me a call. So it's a very useful tool, and that's all it is a tool. It's very inexpensive. Certainly it's a business expense, but $9.95, or you can get two numbers for 19 and 1,000 minutes of free time, etc. So you'll learn a lot more of what you can do, and you can upload your own, and there's all sorts of uses for it. And of course, the websites we know. My approach on the website is, it's not a marketing tool as such, although it certainly can be used that way. But the websites are there to provide information so that you don't have to, which makes this system completely duplicatable. And then once you've sent somebody that you've connected with and created a bit of a relationship with to that website and they've got some questions answered, or at least have a choice or enough information to know what questions to ask, now you've got somebody who you can three-way through to your senior partner and really get in and get their questions answered. So don't rely on those websites so much as a marketing tool as much as a way to introduce and provide information to somebody who you've already connected with. So Dan?
Thanks, Lloyd. I appreciate that. The key to what I'm going to tell you is you need to be the messenger and not the message. As I said again, and this is redundancy, but it's to make my point. Many of you are very good at communicating with others, but the pattern that you introduce this is programs their new brain on what to do, and therefore they probably try and duplicate you. So by using the tool as an introduction, you teach them right off the bat what they're familiar with. Using the tool to find the interested parties. Go ahead, next one. Next slide. Get to know your senior partner directly. Let me reiterate this. Would it be better to learn from somebody who's been down the path first than try and read it or hear it or whatever? You see, your senior partner is somebody who sponsored at least 20 people. They've started up at least 20 people. They know how to show the plan themselves. They know how to do three-way calls. They know where to find the information and point you to where the information is, which empowers you to have another layer of knowledge so that you pass out the information. Never hand your senior partner a number to call for you. Why? Because you don't learn from the process. Always do a three-way call, because our goal is not to do the work for you. Our goal is to mentor with you so that you understand it. And your senior partner is not there for you to ask permission to do stuff. They're there as someone who's probably been down the path. The directors probably, senior partners can be directors, directors can be senior partners. They've been down the path and they say, you know, if you're going to do that, you might want to consider and look at these aspects of that, because those are the ones that we found held it up. And if you do this, then that works better than doing it without it. Okay? They're there to guide you so you don't waste time and money. They're not there to be your boss. And understand the results have patterns in everything. You ready for this? 48% of the people never follow up with a prospect. 48%! You know, and you know what? I can tell you right now, I'm guilty. I'm inexpressive. I have stuff all over my desk. Understand what your talents are, your spiritual gifts, and what aren't. Okay? If you need help, get help. Only 10% of the people make more than 3 attempts to follow up with prospects. Hey, our lives are busy. Their lives are busy. Connecting with people doesn't mean they're not interested. It just means they got other stuff going on and it hasn't fit into their schedule yet. It's okay. Make sure that you follow up. That's key and important. Now, my suggestion, whenever you're out in public, you know, I do a lot of face-to-face out in public. Why? You know how many millions of people are out there? There's no chance intersections. The way in my belief system, every person that intersects with me at that time is a specific divine intervention. Now, you don't have to think that way, but I'm just telling you, that way, I never have any rejection. Because I'm not the one that set up the intersection. And the goal is to exchange some information, okay, and not just hand a card. Exchange the information so that you can follow up with people. There's lots of interested people that today are pressured by money. So here you need to know what this. What you want others to duplicate, you must do first. Otherwise, you have no credibility in trying to get them to do something you're not willing to do yourself. Does that make sense? The building blocks of the business are very simple. Number one, you become a team player. You enroll, you get a package, you upload your documents, and you commit to $1 a week. And you know what? Go as fast as you can to VIP. I don't hold anything back. I don't make any judgments on anybody that can or cannot do that for whatever reason their perception of it is. Get to VIP. That maxes out the comp plan. Next, you become, remember, there's a difference with a person with a jersey on their body on the field than a jersey sitting in the grandstands. There's two different people with a jersey. Number two, you build your team of players. But how can you build your team of players properly if you're not becoming a team player first? You see, our goal is to get you as fast as possible understanding the process, that you do enough work in a short amount of time that you never use your wallet, your purse, your credit card, or your bank account in order to make the system work. We want to get you off of your wallet and your personal finances and get you onto our self-contained system with an e-wallet and a MasterCard and our own vaulting, which puts you in a position to run a global business and never worry about what happens with your own personal finances. But you got to do enough work in a short amount of time. And if you're brand new and have never had any credibility in networking or something like that, use your coaches. These are your senior partners and your directors, okay? And your goal should be, once you build your team of players, you're going to become a coach. You're going to become a senior partner. You're going to become a gold director lead. Gold director leads make 6 and 7 figures a year. 3 gold director leads in a line, continuing, 3 lines makes 6 to 7 figures a month. More gold directors elites in each line. Eventually, as this thing continues to expand, which I see no reason why it would ever not do that, 6 to 7 figures a week over a longer time. You get to choose where you fit into that, and you get to choose what you're willing to do in order to get there for what you want. The process is most important. You have to understand that I want to show you the simplicity of doing units of work. It's called the funnel. The funnel has a logical relationship with human nature and takes you out of your way in order to get you what you want. But again, remember what I said, what do you want? Okay, go ahead, Lloyd, next. You see, in this funnel, you have contacts and spheres of influence. However you drum them up, they could be in your phone. They could be use internet technology to drum them up. You might pay for those leads. Any way you want it, the leads go into the top of the funnel. Now, spheres of influence, these are people who have already secured long-term relationships. They might be financial relationships. They could be organizational relationships. And so one person can lead to tens of thousands of people over time. Okay, now, next we're going to shift the interested parties. We're going to ask them questions to see how their brains are programmed. Your brain is nothing more than a hard drive between your ears. And the hardest thing to do is to get the 6 inches between your ears up to speed on how we do things. Next, once you sift for the interested parties, because not all your contacts and spheres of influence are going to be interested. Yet some of you are trying to make them interested. Guess what? They either are or they aren't, and the more you try and look like you need them, the less they want to become a part of it. Your goal is to show the interested parties the 12-week strategy, whether it's 12 weeks or 20 weeks, whatever it is for them. Show them the base formula of the pillars of truth that we have shown in our program. And remember, that's a formula that was designed by successful affiliates. It was not designed by Karatbars International. So we want the art of the business. This is the art of the business. This is the art of a 7-figure business, is that you get good at getting people to see the 12-week strategy. That is the art of the business. How long it takes you to get good at that, you can make it years if you don't follow and apply your attitude and skills to it. And then once we get the 12-week strategy, we're going to guide them into the correct program for what they're willing to do. Not everybody wants to make 6 and 7 figures of income. Some people just want to cover their, double their retirement income. That's it. Some people just want to double the money they make in a job. Maybe bring one spouse home. If that's all they want, let them be doing what they want. And so once we put people in the correct program based on what they're willing to do, they're probably happy. Happy people buy gold and tell other people, even if it's slow or quickly. So that makes sense to you? Think about all the times you're happy whenever you have some type of something that you put your efforts into. You're in the right program based on what you're willing to do. When you put in a program not for what you're not willing to do, you ain't happy. And so we want to eliminate some of them blue bubble squatters. that don't upload their documents. And so the goal is, click the next slide, is to repeat the task over and 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 over. Now look at, once you run people through this funnel, it is not up to you to choose for them whether they're going to be a 3D. That's for them to choose. Your goal is to take them from the top of the funnel to get them to see the strategy. Once they see the strategy, the seed has been planted. Now your goal is to guide them in the right program and get them on the phone with a senior partner or a director. And you know what? Your goal is that someday you're going to be that person. Okay? Now this business works extremely efficiently if you follow that plan. When you need more information, affiliate training, all about Karatbars.com and KaratGroupTeam.com. Okay? And if you want to understand a program which creates rapid growth, if you follow the plan and you do not bargain with the process, go look at the Build Your Power team. We work with the willing and get involved in the information training. Look, if you're in the business and you're not on Skype, how in the world are we supposed to give you the information that we need to get to you quickly? It's like you got this beautiful flower. Nobody waters it. So you might be into Facebook. I'm not particularly into a lot of Facebook, but if you are, then plug into one of our Facebook groups that we have and get on the webcast. The faster you are able to show the strategy yourself, whether it's playing a video on an iPad or whatever, or getting people to the webcast, the simplicity to build it, each one reach, know when the schedule of webcasts are, 12 noon Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern, and make it a point to find one new face to bring to the webcast. Because explain it, they do. And remember, there's always a cost of customer acquisition no matter what you do. If you are going to phone your own list, the cost is your self-image. So you better be firm in your opinion of what you see. Because if you're not, nobody else will either. There's all kinds of different things. Any printed ads that go out, you need to get approved by corporate before that, or have it run through. There's lots of different ways to put this out there. Lloyd has some very good techniques with phone, etc., that have been very successful for many people. Okay, go ahead to the next one. Now you have to understand that although we register accounts, that opens up the doorway to all kinds of different ways that people are going to create volume. And so how would you like if you had 100 people in your left team and 100 people in your right team, there were 5 or 6 people that decided to roll over and actually sponsor their own gold IRA through their own business. Or they found a good nonprofit or a fundraiser or a company that wanted to brand themselves with Karatbars. And so there's many different ways that we can add to the volume. So when you get the picture of this, it isn't just somebody getting an account and buying a gram. That's the beginning of the reality of understanding the main premise I want for you is to get in the habit of storing wealth in gold. Paper money doesn't store your wealth, folks. It consistently is worth less every single day, and we are definitely building up to an event worldwide where mathematically what we have here is not sustainable that way. So watching all the central banks and governments buy good delivery grade gold, the kind of gold we have, I think we're on the right track, because unless they were getting ready to back their money with it, they wouldn't have it in buying the kind of gold that we have. And so the happy elephant can make you wealthy. And never underestimate one person who does nothing now might open up to 10,000 or 50,000 new accounts. You never know who's in their sphere of influence. Go ahead. And I'm not going to go over the slide, but you'll be able to go back and look to it. When you're sifting through these people, folks, you're going to run into a couple of categories. The ones on the left, employees and self-employed, they have an addition thinking mindset, a linear income mindset. The people on the right understand duplication and success programming. You are able, by what you put into your brain, on a consistent basis and who you associate with move from the 90 and the tasks that you perform move from the 95% who have little to the 5% who have most. And we want you to know that if the 95% had more than 5%, they probably wouldn't be thinking the way they did. So it's not your job to convince them to do that. I could do a 40-hour seminar with somebody and convince them that they need to do what I do. But that's not a good use of my time, and I'd be robbing others who are looking to follow what we do, as opposed to spend all my time with one who may not do anything except to get me out of his hair. Okay. Is there anything else on that slide, Lloyd?
That is it. That's your last slide.
Okay. Go back to, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go back to the slide that has the chart of 100. Okay. Yeah. Just go back. Okay. Now, what I want you to also do is go to the More tab, and then go look at the link that says tips from top producers. Go minimize this, go to the More tab and go to Share Slides. Yes, and I want you to take that link that before you loaded it, and you can make it available and share it in the chat box there, so anybody can download it. Follow me?
Follow you, yeah. There it is.
And then the other one that says Sift Through 100, the PDF. Do that one also. Perfect. Now there's 2 PDFs that you can download, and I'm just going to talk about this right here. I have some very specific things that I look for. Number one, as I told you before, tips from top producers. You're looking for the people with the 3Ds. Now, sifting through the candidates for your team, there's a few characteristics that I find particularly helpful in identifying some of the things that make this relationship work very well. Okay? And so outside of dreams, desire, and determination, they have to have a good attitude. It's not always what somebody says, but how they say it. If somebody asks me in a nasty tone if it's a pyramid, then they have more than likely disqualified themselves from working with me, but I will ask some defining questions. I am not there to be placated. And you don't have to be either. I just wanted to tell that the best way to dispel any negativity is just to pull out your Karatbars MasterCard and hold it up. Okay? That eliminates 95% of the any negative stuff that's there. Number 2, coachability. Look, they might be an expert surgeon, vascular surgeon, but if they're not willing and follow some simple instructions, or whatever profession that they're in, then they are probably a know-it-all, and you're going to fight this for a long time. You don't have to do that. Allow them to get the information, plug in, and a great sign is that the people with desire, they call you. You don't really have to call them. When they want something bad enough, when what you want holds a greater priority than the obstacles or fears you think you might encounter, you will overcome your obstacles and fears and work to get what you want. So again, it all boils down to this: taking a dream out of your head, putting it on paper. What is it that you want? I will help you get what you want, but you have to tell me what you want on paper and what you're willing to do. The next part is transparency. When people are transparent, their needs, their pains, or their dream, you know, the number one question, even on voice blast, which should be, so what's changed in your life that makes you want to even hear or entertain doing or being involved in anything else? What's happened? You can't believe how many resumes are out there. I was a painting contractor for 30 years, blah, 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 and now he's got a resume online. What happened? There's a reason people do things. Identify the reason. Use your common sense, which today seems not so common sense. Okay? And understand they have to qualify for your team and your time. You only have so much time. And as much as you have to qualify in your conviction, in valuing your own opinion, that's what they're checking you on. So many of you, as I've said this before, you know, somebody says, well, let me know when, you know, let me know when you make it. That means they don't trust that you're not going to quit. Period. That's between the lines. So let's leave this one. You can download it. And I'm going to go through this. Now, this is the simplest process in the world, but you have to know this like the back of your hand. And once you get doing it, you'll be a little fumbly. But once you get doing it and you do it over and 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 over, man, it's like clockwork. And you will not believe how your level of proficiency and ability to help others, your ability to help others will improve. So these are some dynamics that you need to know. You need to know how to do a three-way call on your phone. You need to know. So if you have to Google it or get back with somebody, whether it's an iPhone or a Samsung phone or whatever it is, you need to know how to do a three-way call in order to do this. You also need to choose a sizzle call you like. Look, there's piles of different sizzle calls. We make them available for you. You can see them at carrotgroupteam.com. They're there for you to use. Matter of fact, if you have something that you feel that you need to do, make your own. The reality is, once you get a sizzle call, it makes a repeated message and takes you out of the way of trying to describe something. I want you to get a new 100 square chart. And my focus is this: to focus at least 3 people a day, every day for your first 30 days. And this is how it's going to play out. If you ask 100 people for 3 minutes of their undivided attention, only 80 people will give it to you. 20 people aren't even going to give you 3 minutes of time. Out of the 80 people that give you their time and listen to the message, and the ones that are interested, only 40 people, even of the ones that were interested and wanted more information, actually see the marketing plan with undivided attention. That means that 60 out of 100 never even really saw the plan. They were watching TV, they were doing something else. Who knows, they got on a phone call, they didn't pay attention. You know how it is. That's why live meetings work very well. You got an undivided attention. Or getting into a webcast with somebody else, just turn the TV off, turn the phone off, pay attention for an hour. My grandfather said, show up, pay attention, and just do something. Okay? And out of the 40 that see the program, 20 will instantaneously enroll. Out of the 20, they may have 1 or 2 questions, that's it. You take them over the bridge of belief, they enroll for whatever reason they want, in whatever program part of that they want to do. And out of the 20 that enroll, 10 will get a business marketing package right away. 10 may, the rest of them may wait. Who knows? But the 10 that get a package right away, 6 are going to do this with or without you. So you need to understand this process is not convincing people to do this. This is sifting for the interested parties, running them through the funnel to find the 6 that are going to be senior partners, gold director leads, and go on to make 6 and 7 figures a year, 6 and 7 figures a month, and 6 and 7 figures a week. You're eliminating them. You're not convincing them. But the catch-22 in the problem is most of the time you are going to be misunderstood, and you are going to, many of you have shortcut the process. You haven't understood the beauty of the simplicity of the call. And some may say, I don't like that call. Great. So the next person loves the call. So that's why it's important for you to choose the call that you like. And so let me give you a quick example. This is a way. Let's say I want you to look in your own phones. How many contacts do you have in your own phone? If you have a Samsung Galaxy phone, you just go to your contacts, go to the letter Z, and under the letter Z, it tells you how many contacts you have. The iPhone might be different ways, I don't really know. But I'm going to tell you right now that most people have more than enough contacts in their phone to make this work. Okay? So sifting through 100 units of work in 30 days, you have to choose a sizzle call. You got to know how to do a 3-way call. You have to have a game plan for what you want. I need to know what you want. Get a better 100 square chart, and you're going to ask the question. It's going to go something like this. You can start the question in this fashion. I'm going to ask you on the audience here to look in your phone, and if you had a multi-million-dollar idea and you wanted to see if it's worth pursuing, who would you call? It would not be just anyone. Who would it be? That's a finite selection, okay? And so you might call up, and let's say it's Dr. Adams. So you may say, hi, Dr. Adams, it's Dan Girolamo. Listen, do you have a minute or are you tied up? You need to clear the time because many people are busy today and they won't pay attention. They'll be offended if you don't clear the time first. Okay? It's very important to do that. It sets the tone for the rest of the call. If they say, yeah, go ahead. Dr. Adams, repeat their name again. The more you repeat it, the more it makes sense. Will you give me 3 minutes of your undivided attention? Will you give me that? Change your voice inflections, your tone, your tempo, the loudness of your voice. It means different things. The nonverbal communication is more important than just the verbal communication. And at this point, if they say, yeah, I'll give you 3 minutes, sure. Great, Dr. Adams, listen to this. Immediately three-way in the sizzle call number that's on your phone and play the message. You played it and they listened. When you get off of that, you are going to edify the message. That was a great message, Dr. Adams. What's your level of interest on a scale of 1 to 10 to find out more? They're going to give you a number. You need to validate the response in this. Okay? Oh, well, Dan, I'm an 8. An 8 to me means you're very interested. But obviously, you're going to need some details and have a few questions answered. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes? Great. Then, Dr. Adams, do you have the flexibility scheduled to see a live webcast at either 12 noon or 9 p.m. Eastern? Which would be better for you? Well, 9 p.m. Okay, then why don't I call you at 8:45? We'll both get online. We'll both watch the webcast, and we'll just see if we're looking along the same lines or not. Sound good to you? You realize that everything I say ends in a question. The reason some of you paint yourselves into a wall or a corner is you don't leave with a question. You answer with a statement. The question puts you in command of the conversation, and you don't want to give that up. So you can always make a statement followed up with a question. And so the art of asking questions and understanding a few skills here is very simple, and it's applicable in all life. These are timeless things, okay? Well, Dan, you know, my level of interest is a 5. Okay. So that means you might be interested. You haven't really decided either way. But you're going to need some more information to sway in either direction. So let me ask you a question. Is it possible that if somebody listened to that message, they may have a level of interest of 2? Well, yeah. Immediately they say, yeah. I don't go higher. I go lower. 2. Okay. Because I want them to say yes again. Is it possible that if somebody listened to that message, their level of interest might be a 10 out of 10? Yes? Great. Then if making residual income was simple as playing a message, finding sifting out for the 10 out of 10s so you could create an asset that sends up residual income in gold bullion, what's your level of interest now? And point them to see if they follow. Well, Dan, my level of interest is a 2. Okay, so you're interested. Laugh. It breaks up all stuff. Laugh. All right. So let me ask you this, Dr. Adams. You're probably set. You have everything that you need. Can your family do what you do in order to help them if you're gone? No. Do you think a $100 bill is going to spend as far next year as it does this year? 99% will say no. So what are you going to do about it? We have a simple, no-nonsense plan that makes sense. It's basically changing your banking routine. If I take the time to send you some information, will you take the time to review it? Yes or no? They get 3 strikes and they're out of there. I don't care who they are. You'll find more displaced people these days, successful people anchored in their job who are looking for a way not to be tied down. You're going to find this bolts on to anything because we take the money that they make, however they make it, and show them how they can save it correctly. And as the value of their paper money goes down, the value of their money goes, the value of their gold account increases or preserves their labor. If they want to tell somebody, they can make residual income. The key factor in this, everybody, is the fact that we have a logical, legitimate plan to create residual income in real gold money. That is a rarity anywhere you want to find it on the planet. Now, I just want to tell you this, that doing 3 units of work every day. Well, Dan, I got really busy. Let me ask you a question. 10 hours of work in 30 days. That's 6 minutes, 3 minutes to play a message, and 3 minutes to ask a couple of questions. Do you mean that what you want isn't worth 9 minutes of your time? Or 18 minutes of your time? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You can't fit in cracks of time, 18 minutes of your time, right? That's the key. Many of you are sidelined with this. You don't have to be. Where can you find people to make this work? Man, put your noggin to work. There's probably more people in your phone you've never even called. I think the average person maybe calls 10 people, right? You think that's about right? It's you imagine if you do 100 units of work sifting for the 3Ds with an unemotional attachment. Key. I'm not looking to make, it's like washing dishes. Wash a pot, wash a pan, wash a glass. I might have a love affair with the glass, the pot, or the pan. Go do units of work. Now, can you imagine your business if every person that enrolled did 100 units of work and they were taught that? Not go find 2, go do 100 units of work in 30 days. How big your dual team would grow. Wow. Wow. And so if you follow this pattern, you only need a phone, to do a 3-way call, you have to have a chart, you need to have a game plan and put this into action for you. But you need to know what is it that you want, because that's the thing that you have to put in front of yourself to get you to take action. And remember this, intentions are not the same thing as actions. 6 birds were on a tree branch. 3 decided to leave. How many birds were on the branch? 6. Deciding ain't flying. Okay? So there's lots of people with good intentions that think Karatbars a lot. Thinking Karatbars will eat your lunch. Doing Karatbars buys your lunch. And as the process of doing it creates massive belief in action, because you're going to find people that you will never stop from doing this. They will be the juggernauts and the next senior partners, the next gold director leads in the business. And all you got to do is open up enough doors. You don't have to be fantastic at this. Open up enough doors to let the right people get in your left team and your right team. You're done. Hey, now you need to watch Lloyd's Momentum and Velocity video. You can see it at carrotgroupteam.com. I'm pretty much done with this session. We're going to record this.
Yes,
okay?
It's being recorded.
And we want to make it that we want. Go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish up, Dan.
We want you to have the opportunity to change everything you know about your life, your time, and your money. We want you off your wallet, which has been limiting you, and onto a system that is self-perpetuating by taking activities and doing them once. Remember, the only difference between a job and freedom is the tasks that you perform have the ability to create residual income. Many of you have been laboring under false knowledge because nobody's given you enough time to do it. I want you to play, ask 100 people for 3 minutes to divide attention. If it comes to a pinch and you haven't made your goal yet, I want you to get out of your couch. I want you to go down anywhere, a convenience store, a gas station, whatever, and I want you to bring 3 $1 bills with you. And I want you to make a trite comment about something at the gas pump. And if that person wants to talk, they will. If they're not, they weren't chosen to hear the message. That's my position on it. And I want you to ask them, you know, this might be coming out of left field, but a successful businessman in Dallas wants to pay you $1 for you to answer one question. And hold the $1 out in front of them. What do you think they're going to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to take it. 100% of the time, I haven't seen anybody that didn't take the $1. They're going to say, what's the question? If I had $10,000 in cash in my left hand and $10,000 in my gold in my right hand, and I couldn't do anything with it for 5 years, which one would you choose? Okay? If they say gold, if I knew how to get more gold and get it for free, can I have 3 minutes of your undivided attention? Or can we exchange numbers right now? Okay, and get it out there? Either one. Your goal is to play the message. I have a 1.5 minute message. That's enough for somebody to fill their car. Okay, I have a 5 minute message which has a little bit longer, but a little more qualifying to it. You decide which ones you want to use and put it to play. You make your goal.
And I've never met anybody who can stuff more good, solid information into a short period of time than Dan. So thank you very much. And I'm going to put this up on the team site, and I think the heading will be the only training you will ever need, the only conference call you'll ever have to attend in order to make $1 million. And you know, I think a lot of us here, as Dan says, we talk about doing these things, but how many of us actually do them and follow this process? And I think that's the key, is getting this ingrained in your subconscious, have it roll off your tongue so that it's automatic, and just going over this a number of times until it is a part of your soul, so to speak. I'm going to edit this down. I'll put it into a video and put it up on the team site. Take the parts in here that we don't need, and that should do it. So thanks very much, Dan. And I know there's a lot more coming. I know Dan's got a lot more in his plans in the near future that he's going to be unrolling, and we're all looking forward to. But you know what we've had here is all we really need. So while we've got Dan here, and I'll just let it go on, but any specific questions that anybody has, anything at all? We've been in here for an hour, but I'll just open it up for any questions that anybody has, and we'll just wait for somebody to put some in. If you do, by all means. If not, no problem. We'll call it a call. Going once, going twice. All right, guys, thanks for attending. We'll have it up, and you can use it as you need to, but I think it's good, solid information that everybody can use and certainly help duplicate their program. After they watch the webinar, how do you close them? Rod asks, after they watch the webinar, how do you close them? Dan?
Number one, what's your level of interest on a scale of 1 to 10 after seeing it? And whatever they say, I'm a 9. Okay, what do you need to have answered to make you a 10 out of 10? And then work to get your director or senior partner and get them on the line for a 3-way call. Then you teach them to do that, perform in that same way. Therefore, they learned right from the process, from the go, what to do. They're trained what you want them to do. Hardest thing to do is get somebody trained to do something that they didn't do before. You need to have some specific answers for them, and have a few people that you can call that are senior partners or directors. Right, Lloyd?
Yep, that's the key. Keep it simple. Keep it, as we say, we do not need a lot of people. We just need the right people, and it's much different than a typical MLM or the standard program where you're sharing so much income. You need a lot of people to make anything to be motivated. So here we don't. Thanks to the structure, it's a serious business. You're only looking for those who are serious, and treat this like you're interviewing for a sales manager. If you had a business and it was a legitimate business, and you had to have a salesperson in here managing your sales department, would you not be interviewing somebody and being really selective in terms of who you bring in? It doesn't mean you're not going to take anybody. Obviously, this is that type of a business, but you're really looking and interviewing, and you should literally get a face-to-face meeting if at all possible, and really get in there to find somebody who's looking for what you're looking for here, and come at it from that perspective with that.
Yes.
It will not take you too long, and you'll have a roaring business.
Right. One more thing. One of the most powerful questions you can ever ask anybody is what you learn. because that lets you identify how they think and what was important
What was that
to
again?
them.
What was that again, Dan? You broke up there.
What did you learn? What did you learn? Right? What did you learn from that? And that'll also bring out some questions. It's one of the best follow-up questions with simplicity. It helps you understand how they think.
All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks again, Dan. Thanks very much. Everybody is going to benefit tremendously from this, and all you have to do is just follow the ABCs and let it unfold naturally. So until next time, I know there's another webinar coming up here in an hour's time. Bring somebody to it.
Great goal.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks, Dan.
Bless you all.